Hey everybody, so it looks like today is going to be an easy day, the first easy day in a long time. Um, and I definitely learned a lesson that I probably should move things into their own services before I add any new functionality because literally that last time, the thing that messed me up, I had just added. And had I just done those out of order, I think the lift and shift would have probably taken like 1/10 the time. And then uh, uh, the thing adding the target and the spotlight probably would have taken maybe 10% longer. So, like the order of operations always matters. But, anyways, today all I need to do is uh, move the appropriate functionality out of the delete light, out of the Three.js and um, the um, into a service. So the first thing I do is and I've created this a function, more of a generic uh, utility type function in uh, to get the light. So let me just go ahead and copy that code over. Um, I don't think it is really a D do not repeat yourself D dry uh, uh, a dry violation if you're literally just if it's one liner, So let's see, and let me move out of this view. Uh, so so now we're getting our light that way, and we're deleting it. Let's go ahead and test that. Um, Add mesh. Okay, I don't know what I did. Let me just start all over. Um, I don't know if you can hear it. There's like thunder, and we have this really cool thing here in Marietta, Georgia, that I've never experienced anywhere else, where we have rolling thunder. And what that means is like when the thunder comes in, it just keeps on echoing, and you just like it goes like everywhere else I've ever lived. When you get thunder, it's just like and it's done. But here, you can hear one thunder, and it actually sounds like it can keep on making sound for like a minute or 2 minutes afterwards. I think it's because of the way the sound waves reflect around here. But it's really neat. Light, add light, and then show it form, delete the light, and it's gone. Okay, so that's good. I wouldn't have expected anything different. Um, okay, so this scene interaction definitely needs to go here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy this entire function out of here, and I'm going to just create delete ThreeJS light. Oh, that's interesting. Um, so that is literally just to delete a Three.js light from the list. But um, okay, so but in this case we're doing something a little different. I guess we probably still want to get the Three.js light, and then I don't think we need this anymore. We definitely don't even want that. And then I think this actually just deletes the Three.js light, so let's just call that. Delete Three.js light. So that's a function that I created yesterday. Um, so I can just use it now. So here's where I get it. Here's where I delete it. Um, okay, so here is where I remove it from our light items list. So that should be fine. And then, oh, I guess I could have used light item.id. And then, so we definitely don't want to do that here. And we don't want to do anything with the animation service here, and we don't want to do any publishing or anything with the animation service here. So it doesn't do a whole lot other than remove it from the ThreeJS light list and remove it from the light items list. So then over here, okay, we definitely don't want this anymore or this, but we still want to do the signal. And so I can just say this dot animation light this dot animation service dot delete. Oh, what? Sorry. Light service dot delete light and light item. All right. So there I remove the light, which is fine. So here it will get removed from our list, and then here is where it will get removed from the scenes, because ThreeJS still has a link, it's still connected. It still has a reference to the light. So that's fine. The light still exists. And actually, even after I remove it from the scene, it still exists because we have a reference up here, and it is not it's not available for the garbage collection until after the end of this scope here. And that's assuming that nothing else out there has a reference to this light here. As long as something has a reference to it, it can't be deleted. So anyways, I think that's everything. Let's hit save. Let's add the mesh. Let's edit it. Let's move it back to -2. Let's go ahead and turn it into a Fong. And then light, add light. Yep, so you can still see it. There's one thing I did mention yesterday. Okay, why is the material in 3JS called a Fong? See if that even makes sense, because that question really doesn't make sense. Fong shading, named after its creator. Oh, who is introduced. Wow, that is interesting. Good job. Oh, Bui Tong Fong. That is so cool. That is really, really neat. So yeah, now we know. Let's see, how short is this video? 8 minutes and 40 seconds. I finally had a decently length video. Yeah, so I'm done with 3GS. I have a couple of things I need to take care of. One is I'll commit this afterwards, but in my light interface, I need to get rid of these two. And so I'm gonna have to refactor the light form, so that or the light component, light manager component, to basically keep a dictionary of these subscriptions in the form groups and no longer carry them around in the light interface. There's lots of reasons for that. The biggest reason is because I want to be able to export and import things, and you cannot JSON. You can't stringify these things because they have too many. They have references that are the cyclical references, where it's got a reference to itself deeper in. So that's one reason. The other reason is because I have to have forms and subscriptions in other places, so it just doesn't make any sense. Basically, we outgrew that, even if it wasn't for the importing and exporting thing. So that's one thing I need to work on. The other thing I need to work on is see if I take a, let's see if that works for meshes too. So if I animate this mesh, what'll happen is it'll come towards me and I think it'll disappear. Yeah, it'll disappear because basically it gets on top of the light. But if I go in here and so the thing that's changing, so I can change it this. So the end X position, if I change that to 2 point. Okay. Maybe it's only for lights. How weird is that? Um, so I'm going to edit my light and I'm going to make that because I know I had a problem with the Z position of the light where I would try to put a number in. Yeah, okay, so that's interesting. So that seems to only be a problem with lights. I would never have expected that. Um, oh, wait, I didn't lose it that time though. Okay, what is going on here? All right, that's crazy. So we lost it the first time. Let's go to the Z to here. Start position -2. 0.0. Okay, you saw that, right? You saw that. It was okay. So it looks like it only happens the very first time. Okay, so that's not as bad as I thought, as I was thinking it was, because I was thinking that it was constantly breaking, which I would think, I'm like, how did this bug even get by me? But it only seems to happen in very rare instances. Point. Okay, the very first time it comes up, it happens, but it won't happen after. Then 0.5. All right, so that's not as big of a deal. It's still something I need to fix. But anyways, those are the two things I need to fix when I start or before I move out of the lights. I'll probably do the form one first, refactor that, and then I'll work on this weirdness. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. There's like a comparison thing that apparently is not working the very first time on the very first turn. So when you come over here and you change, and that's probably why, because I probably was just testing it on that, but it only happens when you change from one to another. But after you've done that, it works without losing focus. But then if you change and you go back and you see it like redraws everything, but then it only happens once. Once you go back in here, 6. So if I change, let me see if it's just the end. Yeah, see, it happened. So yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's something funny and weird. Definitely not that big of a deal, but something I definitely want to get ahead of and fix now. So anyways, yeah, the form and the sub, removing those will probably be what I work on tomorrow. If I remember correctly, doing that for the materials for the meshes took a couple of days, but that'll be good. And then after that, after lights, I believe we're to scenes, and I think the only thing I want to do in scenes is in 3JS, what kind of properties does scene have? I think all I want to do is turn it into um, yeah. So we're already doing that. Set an environment map for the entire scene, which can be used for reflection. Okay, that's weird. Typically a cube structure. Oh, okay. I think, yeah, that's a, oh, fog. Oh, maybe I want to do that. So I think, yeah, I'll probably want to do fog. So I'll do fog, but before I do fog, I will create the service, the scene service. I have learned my lesson, and then we'll do fog, and then because I've seen some really cool fog stuff, um, and then after scene, we are back to animations, and animation already has a service, right? Yeah, animation service. And so for animations, I think if I unless I could think of something else, I think what I want to do is add another kind of animation that you can set at um, the property level. So here, and probably like a drop down that lets you say whether it's a double. So in this case, it would start at -29 and go to 1, and then at the halfway mark, and then back to 2.9. So it would basically be double. Um, so like for this guy, uh, yeah, it would go like 2 2 and back in half. So it would be moving twice as fast, but it would go back and forth. Um, and that will be the first time that I kind of have another animation. Um, and then I probably should. I think end position. It is end position. I think makes sense. Start and end. But then, another thing I would love to do is have a circular one where the start position is sort of the middle of the circle, and then the end position is the radius of the circle. I think that would be really cool. Um, but so I'll do that other one back and forth because that should be pretty simple, and um, and then back to mesh, which if I remember correctly, there's a whole bunch of new. I can add a whole nother. There's a ton of new meshes that I can add. I think probably the cylinder makes a lot of sense to maybe be the next one, and then camera. I think we've done all the camera ones I want to do, so I think I might just skip camera, and then back to light again. And there's another kind of light, and then if we don't have any big like if everything just goes smooth every time, then I think it will probably be time to um, you know, uh, basically work on the export and import of the JSON. Um, and if I can get that working, then I will call this the proof of concept complete, and probably try to just think about the MVP. What I want to, what kind of cool stuff I want to have for the MVP. Um, and that'll be cool. Anyways, now I went from a short video to a 20-minute video. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.